Alright, I can already tell that it's better. It must have been loose in the USB thing. So, thank you for telling me that, Henry. I appreciate it. Trying to sneak in the last little bit of my dinner. So, alright, Henry, we'll go about maybe like 5 minutes, and then we'll start chit-chatting. I hear you. Okay. I'm gonna grab the link and see if I can post in the... Hey, look who that is. He's here, but he's not here. Baby, I'm trying to grab the link and I can't seem to get it. Guess I'll have to go a different way. So, Henry, how is the weather out your way? Are you anywhere near where all the fire stuff is going on right now? Because I know there's a lot of issues going on, but there's a lot of wind and fire going through parts of California. I saw a clip. I guess it was either this morning or yesterday. Mel Gibson was talking about his entire neighborhood is just trashed. Like, there's nothing left. And I don't know all of the... Apparently, there's a lot of craziness going on at the governor level and down, where I guess they were supposed to have water stored away for this kind of stuff, and they didn't, or they used reserves or something. And so I expect that there's going to be a lot of questions and oversight after that all works itself out. So I'm just curious, what part of California are you in? Are you affected at all by how the fires are going out there? Baby, I miss you too. But she'll be back soon. So. Alright, I'm nowhere near Los Angeles. I'm up in Northern California, like 2 hours from where Lost Dude is. Oh, okay, so you're Northern Cali. Hey, Geeky Gardens, what's up? What's the weather like down there in Florida? It got a little chilly here. It's kind of warmed up a little bit, but I keep hearing talk of another round, like round 2. But it doesn't look like, at least from what I could see, when we're supposed to have precipitation, it doesn't look like it's going to be cold enough for snow. So, fingers crossed it's just rain. Because it's one thing to have snow, but after a couple of hours, our snow turned to freezing rain and left a nice, crunchy layer of ice over everything. And there are still people that have snow in their yards. We still have areas of our pasture that have snow because the sun doesn't quite hit it directly, and so since it's in the shade and it's not super warm yet, it hasn't melted. Jason says, hate it for the people of California, but here in Asheville, there are still families living in tents. Yeah, I've heard that. And before you told me about it, I hadn't heard, I had heard about it even before you mentioned it, that there were still people living in tents, which I've stayed in a tent before for a weekend or whatever, and would not 0 out of 10 would not recommend in the wintertime, especially not in Asheville. It's cold up there. So Geeky Garden says it's been Florida cold for a while. Highs in the 60s, lows in the 40s. Nothing like what much of the country's seeing. Yeah, like I just pulled up the weather forecast, and I'm seeing like the end of this week, the beginning of next week, we're back at like 19 and 20 at night. So, but it's not good. So, it's getting really cold. Sorry, I've got a hangnail that's driving me crazy. I lost my fingernail clippers. I gotta get new fingernail clippers. So, alright, so it's been a hot minute since we got on here. So, I don't know about y'all, but January is always the worst month for me. Because you start off January, you have all these great plans and things that you're going to do. And then you're like, okay, I got to start getting my garden ready. And, but then you're like, wait, no, I don't need to start seeds yet. And then you have your husband or your wife that's like, no, you need to go ahead and get seeds started. But I know if I get seeds started now, they will not make it till March. There's just no way. 2 months of trying to rotate and move things around. No. Especially when today I was putting our menu up on our chalkboard wall. And if you didn't see the video, go back just a few. We tried to bring some of our peppers and eggplant plants in to overwinter. And we've been doing a pretty good job. I think I've lost a couple of them. But for the most part, they're all... Are you going to come sit with me? Nice. But for the most part, they're all doing pretty good. Almost too good?
Yes, very much too good.
You know, most of them I pruned back all the way like you would grapevines. And we put them in the dining room where there's windows all around. So they have light, but with the windows, it's a little bit cooler in there because those windows are not 2020 windows. They're like probably 2000 windows. And so they're not as insulated as they probably were when they were first put in. And so it gets a little drafty in there, which is fine. You want it to be a little bit cooler because you want them to be dormant, right? But I was writing up on the chalkboard wall today, and I looked down, and not only are there leaves on some of my eggplants, there's blooms on my eggplants, y'all. Like, how does that happen?
There's a thing called photosynthesis.
Yeah, I got your photosynthesis.
Is that a threat or a promise?
So, anyway, I have to, I did. Can you not hear me? We went through this a minute ago. Oh, I wonder if she's hearing the early part. Yeah, you might want to hit the live because it wasn't very good early. Well, but I don't know, it's weird. I mean, it's all the way there. Very strange. Okay, talk. Go ahead.
I don't wanna.
Okay, now see. Until you did
Did
whatever you did.
Great.
Alright, now listen to it and see what happens.
Could you turn it up? It is up.
It's all the way up. Hold on and let's see if that changed anything. Now it looks like your throat is making noise. Everybody's like got headphones on. It's like, oh my god. It looks like maybe one of these little buttons. So there's some buttons in the back here.
Much better. There we go.
And for some reason it was
Now I feel like it's
turning
gonna pick
one
up
way.
anything.
Yeah, well that's why we'll put this little thingy back on. Maybe that will help. There we go. Yeah, y'all, I was looking at the register of it going back and forth, and I'm like, it's not very loud. Okay, so, back to the eggplant. Somehow, we now have little blooms. Well, they're not blossoming yet, but we have the little, when it drops down, it looks like it's going to grow a flower. So, I have to do what I hate to do, which is to pluck those off. And I'm probably going to cut back all of the leaves again because it's still too early for them to be growing leaves. So some of them are doing much better than others. I may rotate, like where the ones that were doing really good, I might move them to the ones that seem to be more dormant. And then, take the ones that are, real dormant and toss them around. But it looks like to me we're going to have a good head start on some eggplants and peppers.
Especially Tabascos.
Yeah. To the point where I don't even know if I'm going to start any Tabasco plants this year.
Probably should. Just to be safe.
Dad's over there going, you better! Watch, it's going.
Dad should be working.
Not yet.
He
Not
should
yet.
be.
No, he said they're not even going over until like 7:45. So.
Well, it's 7:14. So you need to be getting ready.
So it's like he probably is. He's probably watching us and getting ready.
That's creepy.
I might be in the bathtub. There's an image for you.
Hey, I'm gonna go bleach my eyeballs.
So anyway, I don't know about y'all, but like January is always a struggle month for me because I go back and forth. And I'm gonna get y'all's opinion since you're here. So Jason and I have been trying to plan our big garden, and
this is gonna turn into a fight somehow.
no,
Not a fight.
and so the question is, when is too much? Like. When is too
Let's
much
see.
too
How
much?
many beds do we have out there? 45 now?
I think so. I think
Yeah,
there's like
that's
45
too
beds.
much.
We've got a goal this year to grow enough food to feed our animals as well as us. Because a few years ago, we never really let everybody know this, but a few years ago we were really struggling. And I say a few years, I mean, Blaze was still living here, right?
Yes.
Was he?
What was this about?
With the gourds.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, so this was like
5 or 6
5-ish years ago. I'm having a rough year, and plant everything. There is no too much.
There is too much.
No, he said there is no too much. You were trying to get everyone on
I told you! I told you!
So, I'll give you an example, okay? In our big garden, you saw in our video that we did about the cultivator or whatever,
No, Blaze was gone. No.
Was he? I don't know. One year we were really struggling financially.
We need to fix that when we're done.
And we had, God had planted bottle house gourd, birdhouse gourds or bottle gourds, whichever way you want to call them. And we just had this abundance of vines of birdhouse gourds. And when they're still young, they don't do too much. And when they're older, they do. And when they're older, they do. And when they're still young, they don't do too much. And when they're older, they do. 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 And when they're older, they're edible, especially for the animals. And so we were supplementing because Carol was giving the pigs everything. So there were gourds everywhere, and so every day
he's behind.
Carol would get up in the morning and she would just fill the buckets. And at that point, we were feeding 20, 25 pigs. Way too many pigs. And so they were everywhere. And so we learned that we could stretch our feed tremendously. And they weren't starving. They had plenty of food. But we were feeding them birdhouse gourds and then squash and zucchini, like just
squash, zucchini, the pumpkins that failed.
Yeah, like anything we could. And so that is nice. I can say what I want, and you can't give me the look.
I can still give you a look.
So anyway, hey Billy, what's up? Don't entertain Sam, whoever Sam is. So we've now got this goal that we want enough to be able to put up. We want enough to be able to eat during the summer. We want, hey Amanda, and we want to have enough to supplement our animals throughout the summer. And so, among all of that, we're going to have to meatloaf, mac and cheese, and baked beans. That's what's up. Ow. I had linguine and clam sauce.
You're about to not have anything.
Really good. You better not touch my linguine and clam sauce. I didn't finish it. Anyway, so the question is, okay, so we have this big, huge space, and I cannot urge y'all enough, if you have a decent sized space that you need to plot out for a garden, I highly, highly, highly recommend GrowVeg, their garden planner. And they've just done a bunch of new updates and changed out some graphics and just a whole bunch of really cool stuff. But you're able to draw out your entire plot. You can put in your plants. It'll give you a plant list of how many seedlings you have to have. What's the question? I don't know. Anyway, so you'll have, help.
Why do you recommend them?
Oh, why do I recommend? That's what I was getting ready to tell you. So GrowVeg.
Yeah. Patience, Padawan.
GrowVeg. Go get my tablet real quick. So GrowVeg is
Watch him start talking.
got some really, really great tools within their garden planner for you to be able to plan out your space, draw it out, plan out how many plants you want. It'll tell you like when they need to be in the ground, when you need to start them from seed. If you need companion plants, it'll give you those. You can make notes in each one. It's a very useful tool. The other reason why I like it so much is because it's cloud-based. I can take my phone. Now, I've got a tablet that's bigger for me to use when I'm drawing all the intricacies out, here. But when I'm out planting all of the stuff out in the garden, I can pull it up on my phone and I can go, okay, what goes in what square? Okay, this goes, okay, I got to put 5 rows of this, okay, 2 rows of that. And then that way, if I keep up with the planting that I've planned through the planner, if I do that out in the garden and keep it right, then when I'm planning out my next year's garden, it will tell me not to plant, tomatoes in this spot because you had tomatoes here, last year, or whatever. So it gives you all the warnings of different things of what you shouldn't plant in certain areas. It's just I'm a very organized kind of person, and I really but right now, my problem is that I'm in that state of analysis paralysis that everybody talks about, Jason tells me that I'm overthinking stuff. And part of the problem is that most of the places that you buy seeds now, you get like 25 seeds. Like for tomatoes, you get 25 seeds. Well, if you have a spot that's 15 foot by 15 foot, the question becomes, do you want to fill that 15 feet squared with nothing but tomatoes? And if you do, how many packets of seeds and how many seedlings do you have to have in order to achieve said number of tomato plants for that square? And so Jason and I go back and forth on essentially how many is too many. Because I don't know about you, but I don't want to be harvesting from how many plants will go in a, how many tomato plants will go in one 15 by 15 square?
I don't know how many. I don't know what you told me.
Oh my gosh, your dad is so funny.
Dad, why can't you just
because he's having
leave
way too
things
much
alone?
fun.
Why not? Like, why?
Way too much fun.
You should make it a point of it.
I love my husband.
I don't.
I do. I love him so much. He's hilarious.
I can't stay.
What am I doing?
I don't know. My chair just farted.
Sure, it was the chair. Sure, it was the chair. All right, let's see. Okay, so let's see if I can get it to where you guys can see it. So that's kind of, see, right there.
You're gonna drop it. Please
No, I'm
don't do
not.
that.
Okay. So we're gonna go to the garden planner. And I'm gonna show y'all.
Go get the tablet and do it with a smile.
Okay, so I don't know if y'all can see that, but you see where all those, that's actually like pumpkins and stuff, but over here, that's all tomatoes. And according to this tool, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So that would be 64. No.
That's way too many
1, 2, 3,
plants.
4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Yeah, so 64 tomato plants in one square. Okay.
That's way too many plants.
So my question to you is, do you think that instead of 15-foot squares, I should go smaller squares?
Yes.
But then if I do smaller squares, then that means more. Does that mean that I would have to have more walkways? And the walkways, we want to make walkways with all of the wood chips that we have. And so, with that in mind, I'm afraid that if I make the squares too small, then I'm just going to have a whole bunch of wood chips everywhere, and I don't know that I want that. So the other option is how you can probably see in that middle one, see where I split the difference? And so I have, you can see eggplant on one side, and I think that's edamame on the other side. And so I can do that, and possibly, but see, there's all these different
Squares that have way too many.
Now, with pumpkins you can only do, in a 15-foot square, you can only do 16.
Now, what pumpkins are those?
These?
Yeah.
This is a Connecticut field pumpkin. And then the I don't even know how to pronounce it, but the blue ones. How do you say that?
That's about the same way of trying to pronounce.
Gerardale?
That's about the same way
Gerardale.
of trying to pronounce Watch Your Sister's Sauce.
Watch Your Sister's Sauce.
Okay.
So I guess what my big thing that I'm struggling with is I know that we want to grow a lot of food, but where's the balance of... See, because if I was just doing 64 tomato plants of one tomato, that would be fine. The problem is that I would like to have a paste tomato and a slicer tomato, but I don't want just one. Whoa, what did I just do? How did I make that happen?
I don't know, but did I just say gloves and people?
Yeah, I know, I saw that. So the question then becomes, like, I want more than one variety of paste tomato. But I don't want them to cross-pollinate. So my space is big enough, I could put one tomato over here, and then a tomato over here, and a tomato over here. So what I'm thinking is that I'm probably going to split the difference. And
You don't love me anymore.
the problem is you told me you don't love me anymore. I did not tell you that.
Uh-oh. Here we go again.
What did I tell you? Yes, gloves, and my channel is about gloves as well. I respect someone who can wear gloves during a live stream if you truly love the gloves.
Can we just stop, please?
Her
We
father.
just have peace.
Peace and gloves. He's just being silly. So
Who is that?
I have no idea. It shows up all the time. So my question. You still getting by it? I never said that. I never said you couldn't buy another one. Never said that.
Wait. What kind?
He wants a pew pew that has letters in it. And just
We shouldn't be laughing about this. Don't entertain it.
So that then becomes my question is, at what point is too much too much? Because if I have to plant a full square of 64 tomato plants.
Okay. If your number is closest to the nearest 100,
But it's not. It's not. 64 is just barely over 50.
yeah.
It's closer to 50 than it is to 100.
No.
So,
No.
and so that's why you didn't get it. That's why you didn't get an A in college algebra.
Let's run this rabbit here. Please. I have all night.
Baby, there's never too much tomatoes. That's true.
There is.
That's true.
No, he's right.
Yeah, I mean, with tomatoes, you can, and maybe tomatoes isn't the best example. I know with eggplant, I would have thought that eggplant would need the same amount of space as a tomato.
I thought it should.
No, you can put like 12, especially when the one sitting beside is still living at home.
You have a year and a half.
But
Chill.
no, but like eggplant is even more. You
Not
can
even a year and
plant
a half.
1, 2, 3, 4,
I feel like I
5,
can't see
6,
this.
7, 8, 9, 10, 11. Yeah. So you could essentially plant over 100 eggplant in one of those squares. And I just don't see needing that many. Especially, again, because we're trying to grow more than one variety. So now, granted, I did learn this year, eggplant chips don't take away my chips. But I did learn this year that our vegan pigs absolutely love eggplant. It's a stupid squash bug. Can you believe that? Or a stink bug. January and we got stink bugs in the house.
Blasphemy.
But yeah, they have, we had an abundance of eggplant this year. And a couple of them would get, ravaged by bugs, or I wouldn't pick them in time or whatever. And so I tossed some to our piglets and to our pigs, and they absolutely love them. So with that being said, is there too much? Like, is it possible to have too much? Because I'm gonna tell you right now, I would rather excuse me, I would rather feed them fresh food from the farm during the summer than piling them on with just corn and soy and all the stuff that goes into these feeds that we get from the feed mill. So I guess I just have to, it's that mental shift of, taking one step at a time. Comes in with the firewood. We have stink bugs in the house also. Huh. Good to know. So that's my dilemma that I'm having right now, because I'm getting into that analysis paralysis, and I think this is part of my problem every year, is that I overthink stuff and then I turn around and it's March. And then at that point, we should be putting stuff in the ground. And I realize it's March, and then we're in full panic mode. And so I don't want that to happen this year. And so that's why you can see I'm working on putting everything together so that we have a plan when March gets here. But that also means that we're going to have to get our seed room reorganized, get all the lights put out that need to be put out, because we have a couple that I think were not working, so we're have to replace those, and we've got 2 that we can replace them with, so we just got to wipe everything down, sterilize everything, and then start planting here pretty soon. We got to put together a seed order, which I'm not looking forward to, because that's the next part of the analysis paralysis, right? Because you start putting together that order and you're like, well, I got to get 4 packets of seeds for tomatoes just for 1 square, or 3, whatever, 4 if you want to make sure that everything comes up, So that's $8 if you're going through in my gardener. That's $8 just in tomatoes. Now
that's not a tomato seed.
Now I could argue that we need to test all the lights and I can pick them up while I'm out. We'll do that. We'll do that probably tomorrow morning. Maybe tonight after I get off of here, because she still has to go milk.
And we got...
What? Tomorrow?
Mm-hmm.
No, I know, but we could do that in the morning. But what I'll do is I plugged a couple of them in, but I think they're all kind of daisy chained. So I got to figure out which one you got to plug in order to make sure that they all work. But I do know that we have 1 in a box and 1 on the side that was just laying there. It wasn't, it hadn't been hung up, but I plugged it in and it works. So anyway, so funny story, and this is great because Daddy hasn't heard this story.
This is about me going for the
So yesterday, we got a text message that our local...
it's not me, it's me.
Well, it was on my phone, so just saying.
Yeah, my name.
We got a text that our local blood bank was running a pop-in. Do you see the goal I created?
Probably in your room.
No, it's probably in my room. No, I don't see it. Maybe it's in the other room.
I don't know, but that's physically bothering me.
Anyway, so we went to go donate blood, and We had eaten lunch. Everything was great. We walked in. We had to wait a little while. Yes, we did get snow. And Dessa went and sat in the chair, and then I got in, sat in the chair, and I was about halfway through in the chat box. I need to test all the lights. I can pick them up when I'm out. No.
What?
How can I get how much can I get for 5 pints?
You want to know what's
So you're O positive? Because right now O positive is hot blood right now.
It's $70.
We got
That's what they paid.
$70 in gift cards yesterday to go donate blood. He said, what goal did he say?
Can you give it to it again, please?
I just saw you going back and forth with Sam. I don't see. But anyway, so we got there. We did our thing. And I'm about halfway through. And I'm facing this way. And Ladessa was behind me facing the opposite direction. And all of a sudden I hear the lady that I'd been chatting with that stuck my arm. She goes, oh, look, she's going down. And I was like, okay, there's only 2 people behind me, and one of them is Ladessa. And so I see your super chat goal. I don't see it. Oh, up here? Oh, okay. Yeah, I don't see it. What does it say?
Oh.
We will go live again. Oh. Okay. So anyway, we we did that, and then all of a sudden, I hear the other lady, and they're like, get the ice pack, da 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 da. I'm like, oh God, who passed out? Well, then I realized it's Ladessa. Ladessa had already been done. She was sitting down eating her Cheez-Its and her drink, and apparently she got lightheaded, and she just kind of plopped over. And they got to her, and they, put the ice pack on her neck. They tied up her hair with a ponytail holder, and they tried to lift her up. And she went right back down.
I went and got my snacks and sat down, and I started to feel bad, but I couldn't really get anybody's attention. So I just figured I was just gonna put my head down. If I passed out, I passed out. But what happened is my Coke can fell over.
Yeah.
And that's what gave me away. They originally thought that I puked, but vomit free since 23.
No, it is not the last. We know what happened now. We know what happened.
But anyways.
He's going to tell you. You don't tell him no. Because that's right. But we know what happened now. Anyway, let her tell the rest of the story.
Too much blood.
No. You were overheated. She was wearing 2 layers. She got warm. And she had eaten everything. She's donated several times and never had even the slightest bit of an issue. So this time, she's always felt a little lethargic after, but never to the point where you just wipe out. So anyway, so we'll just pick it up and tickle it. So anyway, she passed out. And I say passed out, but she just kind of, was back and forth. They got her up, they got her on a bed, put her feet up, gave her the ice pack, part of it was that it was very busy. They were rocking and rolling with people. And so, she said, she didn't really have the opportunity to reach out to somebody and be like, hey. And of course,
What?
Did you count to 3, Jason? So anyway.
I scared.
So anyway, so afterwards, we got ice cream.
Yeah. It was good after that.
It was very good ice cream. So.
Yeah.
But it was, everybody, I say everybody, but I've had several times where I've gotten very lightheaded and woozy after, and not necessarily donating blood, but like the very first time I did it, I was having surgery, and they bring you in a couple days before to donate your own blood so that if something happens, they can use your blood to replace blood. And so, I ended up almost passing out that time. And there was another time I was at a doctor's office for some kind of an appointment, and I needed to get my blood taken. Ice cream, what the what?
Yes.
Look, I'm gonna tell you right now.
Can you move over so I can get in more? It's hard for me to.
Yes, very good ice cream, by the way.
It was very
And
good.
we're not talking about like DQ ice cream. We're talking about we
this
went
is
to
like
Ingles and got
a tub.
a tub.
So
Well,
it
little tubs.
won't be here when you get back. Just say.
It won't be here.
Lay that flat down.
I got cherry chocolate ice cream. It tastes so good. It tastes like whatever. It tastes like chocolate covered cherries, which is my Achilles heel. Off to the store, love y'all.
Off to the store. He's going.
Yeah, I know.
So
Love you, baby. Because
my arm is so itchy.
why is it itchy though?
I don't know.
You don't.
It's all red right there.
It's a little warm right now.
They gave me hepatitis.
It's not even funny. It's really not. But so anyway, so we had ice cream, then came home and passed out.
Yeah. I really blacked out. It was blackout. It was bad. I remember sitting down in the chair and just being here. And I put my head down, and then she comes over and she touches my arm, and she's like, "Hey, you okay?" And I'm like, "Yeah, I'm good." And then I noticed my stuff fell over, and I was like, "Oh, I'll clean that up. I'm fine. I just fell asleep or something." And then she's like, "Let's go ahead and move you over to a bed." And then I stand up, and then I wake up on the floor.
So that's interesting. So both Geeky Gardens and Niana are both O negative. O negative is the universal blood. He said, I gave my wife a couple of pints before a surgery, and she was bouncing off the walls for a couple of years. They started asking for more. But yeah, around here, O positive is a very popular blood that they want. And so they tend to give incentives for us to donate. Now, I don't know. I'm sure O negative probably gets even more. But we usually hold out for the $70. Whenever the $70 comes around, we'll go and donate. So it just makes it nice to go eat out somewhere or go get ice cream or something special instead of just extra money. So we really enjoyed that last night.
Between the two of us, we got, 140?
Yeah, 70 each. So it was pretty cool.
Minus the hiccup. That will forever be in my my top 10 most embarrassing moments in my life.
Yeah?
That one time on the freeway coming back home from Augusta, that was embarrassing.
You puked all over yourself, and then Daddy had to get you.
I did more than puke. That's where we're gonna end that. Good night, y'all.
Oh no. Yeah, you were so bad. Dad had to stop at Love's and get you a T-shirt.
No, it was a dress.
Was it a dress?
Yeah.
And then rig it up with a belt or something to get it to fit you. Yeah.
And then I still have that dress.
Yeah.
And then it'll go. That was number one.
How old were you when that happened? Were we living up here?
We were here, so probably 7 or 8.
Okay.
Because we hadn't started working at the dairy yet.
She was super sick.
Yeah.
She got really sick.
I'm pretty sure we got food poisoning from why is that repeating that?
I don't know. Food poisoning from what?
From Taco Bell.
Yes, we did get snow. We probably got about an inch and a half.
Probably
maybe.
about an inch and a half.
Yeah, well, I take that back. It could have been more. I didn't go out there and measure it. What happened is that after a while, and it was a good while, it swapped over to freezing rain, and so it shrunk, like, it pushed everything down. So we probably had a couple of inches easy, but then once the freezing rain came and kind of packed it all in, it only looked like maybe an inch and a half. But it was really crunchy. Like walking Saturday or Sunday morning, it was just like
it made my brain go burr.
Yeah. So the really cool thing was our pond froze. The surface froze, and it was cold enough that the surface would continue to freeze. Like one of the really cool things Dessa did, we have a water trough in the front where Jason was taking his ice baths, and the surface was completely frozen.
I'm waiting to hear what the cool thing
And
it was.
Dessa put a little hole in it, and it started to freeze back over again because it was so cold out that it just froze back over. I will say this, since you guys are talking about ice cream, I'm looking forward to making and trying some Amish maple syrup ice cream that doesn't call for rock salt. That's interesting. Huh. Niana said we got an inch and a half of ice, then 6 inches of snow. Oh my gosh.
So it went on top?
That's awful. See, we were lucky when the precipitation started, it was snow. We're out of power from Sunday afternoon until Thursday. Ugh. Yuck. That's awful. Yeah, we were fortunate we didn't lose power. We did, however, the next morning after everything happened, Saturday morning, because it was Friday, right? Friday everything was. So Saturday, when we went out there, I told Dessa, I was like, be careful where you're walking, because on all the tree branches, as the rain would come, it was freezing on top of freezing, and so we had these icicles, and so as stuff was melting and dislodging from the tree limbs, we just had ice just falling down. And I'm like, you're going to get impaled with an icicle. Be careful. Be careful. So we had to really be mindful.
I mean, it was solid enough that if it made impact with anything, it just would have.
Yeah, shattered. Yeah.
But I mean, I did get a goose egg. Those gumballs would make it ice. And they fall.
Oh man, I wouldn't even think about the gumballs.
Yeah, neither was I.
Oh man, I can't even imagine. But yeah, and I had to be super careful because I'm a klutz.
You trip on air.
I trip on air. So I had to be very mindful of where I was walking and stuff that was mud that had frozen over and was now ice. I just had to be really, really careful. But we were fortunate. All the animals pulled through, no problem. We're still keeping an eye on the front that's coming through. We got another one coming. I think at the end of next week, it's supposed to be super cold again, 18, 19.
Ew.
Yeah. So,
I don't like it.
we have gotten in the habit of having to drip our faucets at night until we can get until we can get pool noodles on everything.
Yeah, I gotta go twist the general manager's arm at
Walmart, yeah. Get some pool noodles so we can put them up on the pipes underneath the house. So we've been doing that, and fortunately, so far everything has been manageable. Yeah, everything's been manageable. So now it's time to roll up the sleeves, start making the seed order list, and
it's time to roll up some sleeves and start getting some sausage stuff done.
Yeah, we gotta start working on making sausage. We I guess it was back, what was it, Thanksgiving? It's just the dog. Thanksgiving, when Carol was here, we butchered 3 pigs. So we had an abundance of pork. And so we're now getting to where we're cutting through all that to make
Abundance is
sausage.
the wrong word.
Oh, what is it?
Plethora.
Well, between that and we have a goose hunter that has our name and now knows where we live.
You say it like it's a threat, because it is.
And so now, whenever
One morning and there's just geese all over your front
he's
porch.
like,
You're not alive, they're dead.
They're all dead.
They're just on your front
he hasn't
porch.
done that yet, but
Keyword being yet.
but like he'll call us and be like, "Hey, I've got 12 geese.
33
You want 'em?"
geese.
It's like he called while Carol was still here over Christmas break, and we were all kind of going through the sickness stuff, and he called, and Jason was like, "Y'all feel like doing 12 geese?" I'm like, 12?
Bring 'em.
That's all? Bring them. Like, normally he brings us like 20 or 30. And so I was like, 12? We'll have
The
that done.
biggest number he's brought us is 33.
33.
And he brought it back to back.
Mm-hmm.
He had Friday, it was 33, then Sunday it was 33 again.
Mm-hmm.
So he like butchered
60.
60.
Yeah, 66 in like 3 days. It was crazy.
It was so frustrating.
And when you multiply, that's 2 breasts from each bird, so that's 122. No,
No.
132. Right? 66 and 66 is
I'm not even trying to do
120, 132. Yeah, so that's a
That's
lot.
really stupid.
That was a lot of goose breasts to have in the freezer. So
Yeah.
between goose and pork, we have a lot.
Plus, I don't know, it was there a second.
Plus we had a cow butchered this
There it is.
spring or
Went out my ear
summer.
right into yours.
So you better go check on that. He doesn't normally raise cane. Go check and see what he's bargaining at in case we have an animal out. We had to move all of the pigs into permanent structures because of the weather. So we're not as concerned about the animals getting out right now because they're all behind hard fencing. But we've had, I think last week, Jason got buzzed by an owl. An owl literally came down and almost took his hat right off of his head. We've had several hawks here recently. And our new addition to the farm, the newest addition is up in the far corner, where if you saw our video a couple years ago about the skunks that were trying to take all of our baby chicks, right back in that corner, we have like 3 or 4 or 5 deer that have been hanging out in that corner back there. And so sometimes he gets a whiff of them. What was it, cats? And that's the new thing. So in our back, in the pond, we now have like a family of otters.
Like 5 of them.
And they're playful. They get in the backyard, like right on the bank, and start playing and jumping. And
I don't know if they're staying here, but we also have a beaver, too, that's back there. I hate that stupid cat.
Why?
You know I told you? Yeah, you know how I told you I had that nightmare? He came up, he just started running, he came right up on me.
Well, he got me earlier. I went to open the door to do something with the buckets, and he was right there, and I was like,
He almost got kicked.
Is goose greasy like duck? Well, one, we don't leave the skin on it.
Mm-hmm.
We don't try to completely pluck the body and do all that and keep the skin on. We pluck just enough feathers so that we can cut the skin to get to the breast. We pull the skin back, we cut the breasts out. That's all we use. The rest of it we toss to the pigs. We let them take care of them. But from how I understand it, the greasy part is from the fat and from the skin. And since we're not keeping either one of those things on the meat, they do not tend to be greasy at all to me. We have done goose 2 different ways. We've cooked it in a crock pot with broth, like how you would do like a roast. And it's very good that way. But our favorite way to do it is searing it and then serving it with a whiskey butter. And that is by far my favorite, not just my favorite way to eat goose, but like my favorite food right now. I absolutely love it. And I'm trying to make sure that I don't over make it so that I don't like get tired of it. But we're at a point now where I prefer, I think everybody in the house prefers to eat.
Even Blaze.
Yeah, prefers to eat the goose just to steak. I mean, it's very good. It's a red meat. To me, it tastes like a steak. And when you when you sear it, you're searing, and we serve it. Reverse. Yeah, it's a term. It is. You bake it first and then you sear it after you bake it.
I know.
But these are Canadian geese, but they're not like the Canadian geese that are like, completely like migrating here and there and everywhere. This guy that hunts and brings them to us, he hunts local farms where the farmers have planted like wheat or corn or whatever, and the geese, try to tear up their fields. And so it's more for population control than anything. But that means that they're not out eating like trash. They're eating, the good stuff from the farm. So turns out to be a really good, they're very tasty. We sear them on both sides for like 3 minutes a piece, and like 30 seconds on the edges. So like I cook them in a cast iron skillet, and my cast iron skillet, the sides are pretty tall. So I'll just turn them up on their sides and let them sit on the side of the pan. And then you pull them out, and you don't cook them all the way. Get out. You don't cook them all the way.
Get out before you get shot.
You do them to where they're like barely medium rare. They're between rare and medium rare. And then what happens is as it rests, that searing locks in some of the heat and actually cooks it a little bit more. And then we cut it really thin. Like you gotta cut thin slices.
I swear it's like the 3rd time that thing's fallen.
And it works out really well for us. We really like it. It's very tasty. We are overpopulated with geese. Yeah, that's apparently around here we are too. Mm-hmm. There are some farmers that like they not only will they let them hunt on their property, like they'll pay them to hunt them on their property. Because there was one farmer, one of the times the guy brought us like 33, he said,
he went out there and started shooting them with his rifle.
Yeah, he just started shooting them because he just couldn't, he was losing his wheat. Like he had drilled in wheat seed, and as soon as that wheat starts to pop up, they come and start pulling them, plucking them out of the ground. And he just couldn't afford to have that happen, so he just started shooting at the geese with his rifle.
And then he was like, "No, don't do that. We'll be over there in a few minutes."
So they hurried up and went over there and hunted. So and then we benefited from it. So, but anyway, we've been been on for an hour. It's about time for you to go milk. Yay. Don't say it. Don't say it.
I know. I can't say it.
Hopefully, I'm working on trying to get y'all some content out. We've had a little bit of a shift in the dynamic as far as the house goes. If all y'all were in here earlier, you saw that Jason wasn't here. He's actually taken on a job working with a friend of ours, helping build out some Lowe's stores, their displays and stuff like that. And so since he's not here, we have to kind of double up, pick up a little bit of the weight, which is fine because we have it set up. Jason and I have been working really hard to kind of get it set up so that 2 people can do it, because once she's gone, it will only be Jason and I here.
That'll be a sad day.
So we'll need to be just the 2 of us doing what we need to do. So we're working at, putting that all into play. So, but that means that I have to find a rhythm where I can make content, edit the content, put the content out. So we're going to get there. I know during the winter it's a little bit harder because there's not as much stuff to show and things that you're doing, but we will get there. One of the things that I want to do a video on is I am actively making cheese now, and I have 3 cheese wheels that are
Not for long.
that one of them will be ready on Thursday, I think I said.
Goodness, I have to go to a friend's house on Thursday. I can't be here.
On Thursday. So Jason will be here
And be gassy the whole entire day.
and I will let him have some of the cheese. He can tell me how good it is. And so I'm going to do a video on how to do that. Because you really don't need any special equipment. You don't need to have a cow to be able to do it. All of this stuff you can, if you want, you can purchase it at the store. You can do whatever. Or you can go to a local farm and get some raw milk, whatever. So I'm going to do a step-by-step video on that now that I feel like I've gotten pretty comfortable with how to do it. So be looking for that. I also have a really cool gadget that I want to show you guys. I've just been running into issues on how to show you how great it is because we absolutely love it here. It has saved us a lot of time, a lot of money, a lot of headaches, a lot of screaming, and I think the average person would probably like it as well. So I know you're looking at me crazy. I don't have to yell at you about a coffee can anymore. Oh, there it is. So good night, y'all. Thank you for the ones that stuck around to listen to us gab for a little bit. We hope y'all have an amazing week, and hopefully we will see you all next Monday. Y'all have a good evening. Good night.
Thank you all for coming to watch it. Thank you for all watching. I can't just end it.
Okay, so this is the part where Jason usually talks very, very quietly.
Very quietly.
Because we have to fill 20 seconds for the end screen.
20 seconds.
You guys have a good evening, and we'll see